Welcome to my channel where I do all things cosplay and especially convention horror stories. If you want to submit your own story, hit up my social media. And don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified, and hit like so that... Also check out my other social medias like Instagram and TikTok, where I do all kinds of other wacky and crazy things. Part 2 for Control Freak, and a warning for mental health, bullying, as well as attempted suicide. For those who are a bit sensitive to these topics, you might not want to continue this story. So now that you know how I came in contact with Annie and Anya, you'll understand where part 2 comes from. Our friend group slowly starts to graduate one by one, and eventually it's our turn. Annie and Anya graduate together, and I decide to transfer universities. We all end up at the same school by the coast, and we move into an apartment together. Why did I do this? I hated staying in the hotel with them. Why on God's green earth did I think sharing a living space would work? In a way, I'm glad I did, because I ended up helping my weeb friend Anya more than I ever thought I would. As I mentioned, Anya had issues. Severe anxiety, depression, and some untreated mental illness. After a long talk and teaching her about medication and how it helps, I managed to talk her out of some self-harm and convince her to get help. I'm relieved when the school's doctor put her on proper medication to help her with her conditions, and she really mellows out. She stops having delusions in the middle of the night. She calmed down a lot. We all still go to cons every now and then, and for a while, things get strange around Annie and Anya. After she gets medicated, Anya and I get relatively close. We hang out at the mall and shop. We watch anime and talk about her mental health from time to time to make sure she's feeling okay and not having any negative effects. She has a bad habit of telling half-truths to doctors, so sometimes I'd step in a little over the boundary and talk to him about my concerns for her. I'm glad I did though, because she is much better. I notice after I start getting close to her that Annie starts acting strange. It was like a light switched, and she starts to hate Anya. Every time Anya leaves for work or school, she starts complaining about her. She's too fat. She eats too much. I wish she'd move. She's such a weeb. I wish she'd grow up. She's too fat to cosplay. She listens to that K-pop shit. She's a Koreaboo too. She's crazy and she shouldn't live with us. I don't want a crazy person in my apartment. Her family is so messed up. No wonder she has problems. I have depression and I don't act like her. She doesn't have an excuse. I explained to her multiple times that just because you have depression doesn't make you an expert on depression. You only have your depression. Stop assuming that everyone acts like you. It doesn't help that Annie started to force Anya to lose weight by putting a limit on what food she could put in the fridge. She divided the fridge in sections and gave her the smallest part, the half at the bottom shelf and a portion on the bottom drawer. This person even started throwing the poor girl's food in the trash. Freshly bought food got thrown in the trash as soon as she left. It got so bad that Anya ended up buying too many fridges to put in her bedroom and started locking her bedroom door to make sure that she didn't know and throw things away. It was disgusting. Anything she could think of to insult her, she did. Anything to hurt her, anything to make her want to leave. It got to the point where I flat out told her that I didn't want to hear any more, and if she had that much of a problem with the girl that she shouldn't harass the girl, I told her to leave her alone. Yes, Anya is 100% a weeb that's obsessed over anime in Japan. Yes, she is a Koreaboo that dreamed about her Korean idols and wanted a Korean boyfriend. But at least she wasn't a two-faced control freak that tried her hardest to make someone feel bad about the way they look. At least the weeaboo didn't throw away our food out of spite. At least the weeb didn't try and turn your friends against you for no reason. To this day, I don't understand what happened between them. I don't know if Ani just got jealous of our new friendship, or if something was said between them while I was gone, but it was like one day they were friends and the next day they weren't. After 3 whole years of this mess, I had enough and moved. It took me a long time to save up money to move back to home, but I did. I'd like to add that during this whole mess, Anya ended up checking herself into a mental facility after a failed attempt of suicide. After months of stay, I helped her talk to our landlord about moving into a new apartment before I left myself. I know we like to talk shit about weebs for how cringy they act at cons, but my story is extreme. What Ani did and said to this girl is borderline insane and could be considered harassment. When I think about the situation, I so desperately wish I could have beaten the ever-living heck out of this person while this was happening. Thank God Anya got away from that mess. She's a million times happier now that she's on her own. She's making straight A's in university and a wonderful internship at a school with a sweetheart boyfriend that loves her and all her annoying weebiness. Ani moved somewhere else, and I don't care where, and she doesn't talk to either of us now. Well, I'm glad that Anya is okay, because, despite, like, all of us joke, like, me and especially, this is me just talking out of character, like, joking about weebs and stuff like that, if they're not actually hurting anybody, who cares? Like, let us be cringy. Like, I've been cringy with my weeb stuff. Just look at my TikToks. Like, as long as we're not hurting anybody, who cares? Let us be cringy. Let us have fun. Like, let us have fun. Like, even with my, like, reaction stuff that I've done. I've reacted and I've, like, talked over them and told my own stories of me being a cringy weeb and just having fun. Let them have fun. Honestly, it just sounds like this girl just straight up was just a toxic, like a very, very toxic friend who, honestly, I'm very glad that you guys just got her out of your life, because obviously she was having problems and she was a problem, and that's not somebody you want in your life at all. Coming from somebody who's had experience with the toxic friendships and who's been there, it's best just to cut those kind of people out of your life. Take them out of your life. They're not worth it. They're not worth keeping in. It's just a done and go. It's not worth it. It's really not worth giving them any kind of chances. But I'm glad that both of you are doing well. I'm glad that you gave me your story, and I'm glad that she's okay. Thank you so much for sending in your story, and I hope to see you guys next time. So you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much. Hit subscribe and even the bell icon as well, so you'll be able to see all of my other videos whenever they go and are uploaded. Thank you so much. It all means so much to me as well. Thank you.